Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we continue our visit in New Orleans, Louisiana by visiting the Whitney Plantation, which is the only formal plantation site in Louisiana with an exclusive focus on slavery. Generations of Africans and their descendants were enslaved here to establish and maintain indigo, rice, and sugar crops. In 1795, there were approximately 19,926 enslaved Africans in Louisiana, many of which who endured great hardships at the Whitney Plantation. Some scenes from the movie Django were also filmed here. So let's take a look, and we hope that you enjoy this tour. Let's get to it. Hey, welcome back, everyone. So now we're outside of the big house, walking around to the back and approaching what I believe is one of the water towers, one of the two water towers on the back of the property here. You'll see the other one here in a moment. And there's the other one on the opposite side. And this is the back of the big house. So we're touring inside now, one of the first rooms you come into. This is a pretty big room. It's another room, I believe, is where the dining area was. So this is the third room that we came upon. Sorry it's so dark. There's not very much light coming into this room. It's got a bookshelf over there to the right. And just that one window there. Heading back out into the main room. And this is another room. It's pretty like a hallway almost to a back room. And one thing we were told about the property is that the kitchen is outside. It's a separate house where all the cooking took place because the owner of the house didn't want all the cooking smells messing up the aroma of the house. So now we're approaching the back of the house again. And as you can see, there's stairs. There's a two-level home. However, the second level was not available for tourists. So couldn't see what that looked like upstairs. I'm sure there was more like a parlor maybe or some bedrooms upstairs. It's a pretty big home. And this is the kitchen. This is one dwelling here for where all the cooking took place, food preparation and all the cooking. So in a moment here, we'll be in the back of the house, and right to the left there, where those people were, and that's where the kitchen dwelling is. Sorry I didn't pan that a little bit better, but that's where's the location, so it wasn't far from the home. Now we're going down the road to the plantation to some of the other buildings that were on the property. This next building here is the home of the overseer. Unfortunately, the door was locked, so we couldn't see inside. Next, we're approaching the blacksmith shop, which also we couldn't get inside because the doors were locked. Man, sure would have been cool to see what was inside. I'm not sure if it was closed just during this time we were there or if it's always been closed. Oh well, on to the next building. So this is one of the slave quarters. Slave families lived together in these cabins until they were separated by death, escape, or the slave trader. Outside of these cabins, they often grew small garden plots and raised livestock. So once inside, you'll see that there's two rooms on each side. So I don't know, these are separate entrance. One entrance for one family and another entrance on the other side for another family. There's two rooms on each side, quite sparse. The fireplace, a bed in the front there, and I believe another bed in the back. So now we'll go over to the other side, and as you can see, it's like a duplicate of the other side. This one has its own fireplace. So I believe this is one cabin for two families. So this area here is part of the memorial dedicated to Charles de Saunders. He was an African American revolutionary who was one of the leaders in the 1811 German Coast Uprising, which was a slave revolt that began on January 8th, 1811. So that is his bust of his statue there in the front, and the folks behind him are a representation of the rebels that he led on that day against the slave owners in what was known as the territory of New Orleans. Actually, he led more than 200 rebels against the plantations along the Mississippi River towards New Orleans. Now we are in the area that's called the Wall of Honor. And this memorial is dedicated to over 350 people who were enslaved on this plantation between 1752 and 1865. The names listed here come from inventories, sales records, and manumission documents. West and Central African names can be seen on this mural, as well as European names given to these people by enslavers. So here you can see the large kettles that are on the property, and these were used to boil down the sugarcane juice. The heating of this juice created delectable sweet crystals called sugar, and most of the larger ones were able to hold up to 500 gallons of the sugar juice. Just reading these names on the wall just kind of makes this area more personal for me. Just knowing that all these individuals lived in this place and endured the hardships that they had to go through. And it's kind of like of a somber moment for me, anyway, to read these names. Okay, this structure here is the jail. This jail was manufactured after the Civil War and used in Gonzales, Louisiana, probably around 1870 through 1890. Similar in design to slave jails, this structure was likely used in the area of convict leasing to house men who were often unjustly arrested and put to work on infrastructure projects like building roads and levees. Okay, this area is called the Field of Angels, and this memorial honors the 2,200 enslaved children who died in St. John's the Baptist Parish between 1823 and 1863. Disease and harsh labor created high death rates. Enslaved mothers suffered tremendously. Francois, an enslaved laundress on this plantation, lost 5 children by age 23. Three died within 1 month. This is the Antioch Baptist Church in 1870. This church was built in Paulina, Louisiana by freed men. Formerly known as the Anti-Yoke Baptist Congregation, it formed out of a mutual aid society. This congregation, now called the First Community Antioch Baptist Church, still exists. In 1999, they generously donated this original structure to the Whitney Plantation. Just a remarkably built building, just beautiful to be made by hand and blood, sweat, and tears. The people that built this structure.